Welcome to the Exposer. So recently, we know that Spac Nation's Toby Adeyega has been dropping a series of interviews with the members who he believes have become a success story. So it's a very selective series of interviews, and he interviewed a guy known as CK, who Spac Nation called PK, standing for Pastor Kevin. So before I give you guys a breakdown, I'll just talk about what they spoke about and then break down certain things because there was so much inconsistency in this interview. So Toby asked him about CK's time in jail, and TK claimed he went to jail for murder, attempted murder, and that he'd been found guilty for 3 things, but served times for 1 conviction, and he'd been on remand for all of the other things. And he said he'd been in jail a total of 9 times. He claims he went to Spac Nation and heard Toby talking down on drug dealers, calling them waste man. So this is what helped him change his thought process about becoming and remaining a gang member. And he also spoke about Toby asked him about legal money, and illegal money. Which one makes more? And CK responded to legal money because with illegal money you have to hide and there's many problems behind it. He also asked him about his fight in prison. Basically, during a prison visit, there was a video that went viral where he went to see a friend and he saw basically all gang rivals, and apparently they tried to attack him, so he defended himself. Then Toby asked him, this is the most important thing, and this is something we will talk about after I break down the interview. Toby asked him, what does he do? Now, he was a bit hesitant, and he ended up saying that he gets delivery contracts, and then he also gets others to do the same. So he wakes up early and gets delivery contracts. Now, Toby emphasized on basically delivering parcels and stuff like that, and he said, yeah. Let's talk about the amount of people that live with him. He mentioned that 11 people live with him. And Toby also asked him, why does he look after 11 kids who ain't his, knowing that he's married, working, and a pastor? And CK's response was, he believes that, he says that everyone that lives in that house believes in the same thing, and that they are a family. So again, we will touch more about that line he mentioned there, where he said they all believe in the same thing. And then he was asked as well, in 3 to 7 years, where does he see himself? Again, couldn't really answer that, so he just said he just knows that he will be big. Now, here's the contradiction here. Anyone who knows this guy and anyone who went to Spac Nation or anyone who's still a Spac Nation member will know that the church was asked to raise over 30K so that this guy can open his own chauffeur company. And this was celebrated, and this was glamorized and glorified by everybody, and he was basically the success story. He was called the Prince of East London, and he had a glamorous celebration. And they used his story to basically try to motivate everyone to join Spac Nation. Basically, the story was a crazy ex-gang member has joined Spac, and Spac has helped this guy open his chauffeur company. And this chauffeur company apparently was booming, and they were even looking forward to also even renting out private jets. This is the delusion that these guys created, and a lot of members believed in it. Now, we exposed him, so we'll put in the description the exposing video of this guy so you guys can have a better understanding of who he is and what he's done and what has Spac Nation done with him. So he's that guy that Spac Nation used as a symbol to get roadmen or young roadmen to join Spac Nation, knowing that they're going to make money. So he was so celebrated, and even till last year, he was still insisting on his chauffeur company. He was promoting it a lot, and we exposed that this chauffeur company never existed in the first place. It never existed in the first place. So that 30K that members raised, people need to understand where that money went to. People need to understand where that money went to. And today, he's saying he does delivery. There's absolutely nothing wrong with deliveries, but it just shows that Spac for many years have been lying about this guy. And remember, Spac was created with a mindset of once you join Spac Nation and you want to change your life, they help you create your own company and you become successful. So this man has openly admitted, without realizing, that his success story was all made up and it was all a lie. And he's just doing a normal job, just like everyone else. So showing these Rolls Royces and showing these watches and all these trap houses is all a facade to basically lie to the public. Now, the most serious thing about this interview as well was the thing he said about the 11 people living with him. And he broke down how he met some of these young guys who looked up to him, these young roadmen, and how they've moved in with him, and how they've decided to go to school, how he's helped them find work and things like that. But he also said he gets people to do the same thing as he does. And that line where he also mentioned when Toby asked him, why does he look after? Why does he want to do it? And he said, we all believe in the same thing. He's admitting basically that we're doing the same thing that Toby himself has done, which is bring a lot of people to live with him. And there's basically security and assurance that every month their bills will get paid. So he's got 11 people living with him in a 5 or 6 bedroom house, which looks nice in pictures. But people need to understand, more than 11 people living in those houses means there's a lot of people sharing rooms. There's also girls there, and there's people sleeping on the floor in living rooms. Because there just isn't enough room. But this is a recruitment process which a lot of Spac Nation pastors do. So anyone who knows what Spac get up to will understand that this is getting 11 people that live in the same house. If they are all working and they all know they have seed to pay and they all know they have their bills to pay, and we all know what happens. He's one of the senior leaders, which means that he looks after the finances. And there's videos out there to show how he treats these young people. He controls them. He dictates everything that they do. There's videos that came out about a woman who was there with her child, who happens to be the baby mom of one of his friends who's in jail right now, who claimed that he abused her. She had to leave that trap house. She was sleeping on the floor on just a mattress, her and her son. You know, this is how he was treating an adult. So can you imagine what he's doing with these young kids? There's videos circulating already, which is already on our channel, where he is basically controlling these kids, forcing them to do cleaning duties and other things. So you can understand what he's doing with his finance. You can understand what he's doing with their finance. You know, so this is just another recruitment process. This is why he said we believe in the same thing, meaning they believe they all have to give seed, because we know how passionate they are. And they all believe that they are a family, and he's a leader in that house, which means everything he says must go. There's another video where we also posted, where he's with another leader, pastor that lives with him, Alexander Kenlock, where they talk down on the young pastors at Spac, saying that they need to listen to the senior pastors. And they're not allowed to do a lot of things that only the senior pastors can do. So there's so many things that goes on there. So he's basically exposed that his success story was a lie. Just like many other pastors' success story. And again, everything we've said about why so many people live in the trap houses, again, he's exposed in a different way. He hasn't openly come and said, this is what goes on there, but he's just said in one line, we are a family and believe in the same thing. And he mentioned that he gets them to do delivery jobs like him. So anyone who's always believed that Spac Nation is a place that changes people's life, understand today that this is all a lie. We have exposed all of their businesses to be false and fake and dissolved. And these interviews he's doing is only proving that. It's only proving that. And Spac Nation think that the public will forget about the past. No, because Toby spoke about how patience is the most important thing, that people always remember about your past, but not your current, not your future, not the present. But unfortunately, all of these pastors who have gone to him, we've known many who have walked out of Spac, yeah, who joined Spac and only got themselves in debt. And all of these pastors and the female pastors at Spac, we know majority of them have taken out loans for this guy. So they're all in debt. They may all be happy right now because they're taking money from the young members and basically raising money from other people. But a day will come when they're no longer able to do that. And this is when they'll walk away and then realize the reality, which is they have to pay back their debt. We know many pastors who have left Spac Nation now, who are in debt, who are in depression, who don't know how they'll pay back this money. And we've seen how Toby treated these pastors. He's openly said he doesn't know these people and that he was never close to these people. So this is how he treats people who are loyal to him. Because at Spac Nation, you cannot talk about your problems. It has to remain private. And the moment you decide to speak out against him, they will basically put you down as an outsider. Someone that's not part of this organization. Just like Scientology, just like all other cults, where you just have to listen to your leader. So again, we'll put down the exposing video of this man so you guys can have a better understanding of him.